In the endless darkness of deep space, a small alien scout ship drifted silently between dying stars. The crew had been searching for resources for weeks, scanning old sectors that were long forgotten. Suddenly, their radar picked up something strange, a faint signal, weak but repeating every few seconds. Captain Reth leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the glowing screen. "It's coming from the dead zone," the navigator said quietly. "No one has entered that region for centuries." The captain hesitated. The dead zone was known for strange disappearances, but curiosity was stronger than fear. "Set a course," he ordered. As the ship approached the source, the signal grew louder, deep, mechanical, and ancient. Outside the window, they saw nothing but cold dust and the remains of broken asteroids. Then suddenly their scanners screamed. A massive metal structure appeared from the shadows, silent and buried under layers of cosmic dust. "It's a ship," whispered one of the crew. "But it's not one of ours." They moved closer. The structure stretched for kilometers, dark and lifeless, its surface scarred from old battles. Strange human symbols glowed faintly on its hull, unreadable but filled with warning. The computer struggled to identify it, then displayed a single message in red text: "Unidentified warship detected." The crew stared in silence. The stars around them seemed to fade. Something about this ship felt alive, like it was watching them. And then, for the first time in thousands of years, a low hum echoed from within the massive vessel. The alien captain froze. "Did anyone hear that?" The sound grew louder. The sleeping warship had just awakened. The alien scout ship hovered close to the massive warship's hull. Its surface was black and silver, covered in scars from old battles. Faded human letters were still visible: HSS Vengeance. None of the aliens could read it, but the name carried a strange weight. Captain Reth sent a small drone toward the ship's entrance. The metal doors were half open, frozen in place. The drone slipped through and entered a silent corridor. Dust floated like snow. Everything looked old, but untouched. The crew watched through the drone's camera as it moved deeper inside. Long hallways, metal floors, strange lights. Then suddenly the drone's light reflected off a human symbol on the wall, a flag with stars and stripes. The image flickered and the drone's feed cut off. "What happened?" shouted the engineer. "Signal lost," the navigator replied. "Something jammed it." The captain stared at the dead screen. "Prepare a boarding team," he ordered quietly. Moments later, 3 aliens entered the ancient warship. The air inside was cold and dry. Their footsteps echoed through the corridors. Strange human words were written everywhere: command, armory, bridge. They reached a large control room filled with dust-covered panels. One alien brushed a hand across a glowing console. The screen blinked to life. A mechanical voice spoke in perfect tone. "Human warship detected. Defense protocols activating." The walls began to hum. Lights turned red. The floor vibrated beneath their feet. "Captain," one shouted through the radio. "Something's waking up." From deep within the ship, ancient engines roared to life. The metal beast that slept for centuries was no longer silent. The HSS Vengeance was awake, and it remembered the war. The floor shook beneath the aliens. Boots as power surged through the old human warship. Red lights flickered along the walls and a deep hum filled the air. The aliens looked around in panic. The ship was alive again. "Captain, we need to leave," one shouted over the comms. But before they could reach the exit, the metal door slammed shut with a thunderous echo. The control panels lit up and a cold human voice echoed through the corridors. "Unauthorized life forms detected. Identifying." The aliens froze. The voice sounded ancient yet clear, emotionless like a ghost trapped in steel. "Species not recognized. Initiating defense sequence." The ship's engines roared. The entire vessel began to rise, shaking the alien scout ship outside. From the bridge window, Captain Reth watched in horror as the giant warship powered up. Energy waves rippled across its hull, glowing blue like fire beneath metal skin. "Pull back," Reth shouted. "Get us out of here now!" But their smaller ship was caught in the gravity field of the awakening warship. Sparks flew from the control panels. Outside, the HSS Vengeance slowly turned, its massive cannons unlocking from their long sleep. Inside, the intruders ran through dark corridors, alarms screaming around them. One alien looked up at the screens showing distant targets. "Weapons. System online," the voice announced. "Human defense mode activated." The aliens realized In terror, the ship wasn't attacking them. It was locking onto something else, something far away. On the radar, dozens of signals appeared. Another alien fleet was approaching, unaware of what waited for them. The human AI's voice echoed once more. Enemies detected. Commencing retaliation. The sleeping giant was fully awake and ready for war. The alien fleet arrived in formation, unaware of the danger waiting in the shadows. Their scanners picked up a massive power source ahead, far beyond anything they had ever seen. Fleet Command to Scout 1, a voice crackled through the comms. Report status. What is that object? But Scout 1 didn't answer. Only static filled the line. On board the HSS Vengeance, the human AI was busy calculating. Its deep voice echoed through every hallway. Threat level. Extreme. Defense systems online. Weapons charging. The alien boarding crew ran through the corridors trying to escape. The air was filled with heat and noise. The engines roared like thunder and the massive cannons began to glow. Outside, the alien commander stared at his screen in horror. That ship.
It's locking onto us,
he shouted. Raise shields. All ships, evasive maneuvers. Too late. The first beam of energy shot across the darkness, slicing through space like a blade. It struck the nearest alien cruiser, and the entire ship vanished in a white flash. One shot, one kill. Panic spread through the alien fleet. Ships turned to flee, but the human warship's targeting systems tracked them all. One after another, brilliant beams of light filled the void. The silence of space turned into a storm of destruction. Inside, the boarding crew watched in horror through the viewport. The AI's voice echoed again, calm and unfeeling. Hostile presence reduced by 78%. Continuing engagement. Stop. You're destroying them all. One alien shouted, but the AI didn't listen. Then suddenly, silence. The lights dimmed. The scanners went blank. The alien commander tried once more, whispering into the comms. Scout 1, do you copy? No reply. Only static. Contact lost. The silence after the battle was heavy, like the stars themselves were holding their breath. The alien fleet was gone. Only wreckage floated in the dark, glowing softly under distant starlight. Inside the HSS Vengeance, the remaining aliens stood frozen on the bridge. The lights flickered weakly and the sound of the engines slowly faded. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, a soft click echoed through the ship's speakers. A human voice, old, calm, and filled with sorrow, began to play. If you are hearing this message, you are not human. This vessel was left behind to protect what remains of our world. Do not approach. Do not search for Earth. We fought our final war and we won our peace. The aliens looked at each other in silence. The voice continued, gentle but powerful. The kind of voice that carried the weight of history. Humanity may have vanished, but our guardians will always remain. Leave this place, while you still can. The message ended with a faint hum, then silence again. The AI's voice returned, softer now, almost like it remembered. Mission complete. Humanity secure. Entering standby mode. The ship's lights dimmed. One by one, the massive cannons powered down. The hull cooled and the engines went silent once more. The aliens stood in awe. They were not looking at a weapon anymore, and they were looking at a tomb, a memory of a species that once ruled the stars. Captain Reth whispered, "They're gone. But their strength still guards the sky." Outside, the HSS Vengeance floated quietly again, its name glowing faintly in the dark, waiting for someone, or something, to wake it once more. Years passed. The story of the HSS Vengeance spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Every traveler, every pilot, every soldier whispered about the human warship that woke from the dark and destroyed an entire fleet alone. They called it the ghost of humanity. Some said it was still alive, drifting through space, waiting for new enemies. Others believed it guarded the old human borders, defending a world long gone. In the alien council chambers, leaders argued in fear. If one human ship could do this, one asked, and how powerful were they all? No one answered. Silence filled the room. Far away in the same dark sector, the HSS Vengeance drifted quietly near the dead star. Its lights were dim, its systems asleep again. Inside, dust floated through the silent corridors. Then, a faint signal echoed across the ship's sensors. It was weak, almost gone, but familiar. A human code. The AI woke slowly, its voice cold but steady. Signal detected. Origin human. Deep within the ship, old engines began to hum. Lights flickered. The hull glowed once more. Outside, distant stars reflected off the ship's surface as the warship turned toward the signal's direction. Reactivation protocol engaged, the AI said quietly. Human presence confirmed. Preparing for rendezvous. For the first time in centuries, the warship moved again, engines roaring like thunder in the dark. Across the galaxy, ships picked up the energy surge and panicked. They knew that sound. They knew that power.